exists to define purpose through holistic mentoring. At Byond, we will assist you to achieve success, enjoy inner peace, and live your best life. Basically, we're here to inspire you to heal and transform. Byond umbrella consists of Byond Talk, Byond Virtual Learning Space, Byond Coaching and Mentoring Services, and Byond Online Shop. For more information, visit us at www.sandraturgott.com or contact us at byondonline@gmail.com. Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to Byond Talk. I'm Aaron.
Good evening, everyone. I'm Sandra Turgott. Aaron George, did I cut you off?
Hey, Sandra. How are you doing?
I'm good, Aaron. How are you?
Good, good. Beautiful in blue as usual. Good to see you.
I love my blues.
Excellent. Here we are another Friday for a great talk that's coming up, and looking forward to it. So how was your week?
Too.
How was your week?
It's been good. It's been good. I cannot complain at all. It was a great week. How are you?
Awesome.
How was your week?
My week was pretty good, pretty relaxing, and very insightful. That was a great week.
Good.
So I'm happy to see you again on this Friday.
I know. Me too.
Just want to welcome all our viewers to this evening.
Thank you for watching.
Thank you for watching. And for those of you that are new to Byond Talk, Byond Talk is basically a social mentoring forum, a space designed to engage our community in thought-provoking conversation about real-life issues, success, triumph, heartbreaks, real-life issues, things that help us to transform our life, to live authentically. Because we also know that in life, teachers and learners are interchangeable. So, we're here, we're teachers, and we're also learners, right? And we want to engage a community in conversation because, they say iron sharpens iron. So, whatever information that you have that you could help input and to give impact to the presentation, we encourage you to join us. And we also found that one of the greatest tragedies in life is for us to lose our authentic self and for us to live the version of ourselves that is accepted by everyone else. So we want to encourage you, we want to inspire you to go after your healing and transform your life. And that's why we're having a conversation today. And, we're talking about answering the call through healing others. So stay tuned. We have a great guest. And, as we're going through, again, we want you to participate because this is for you. Sandra?
This is for everyone. You just said it all, my friend. I can't even top that. This is for everyone. Thank you all for joining us, as Aaron said, and we invite you to make comments and join the conversation. Our guest, Jackie Henry, is backstage. But before we call her out, before we bring her out,
what you call her out for?
Bring her out, call her out, bring her out. We're going to be. Let me just read a little something I wrote. We're all called to be healers. We're called to sow good seeds in the earth. We're called to be reapers and gatherers of good fruits. We're called to share, to extend kindness and compassion to all. This is really what it means to be a healer. That's really what it means. It's very simple. It's no magic. It's really extending yourself, as Aaron said, just extending yourself, allow yourself to expand so that you can touch other people's lives. With no further ado, we're going to invite our friend, Jackie, to join us. Where is she? Hi, Jackie. Where are you? Okay. She's not coming, Aaron. So,
here she is.
She's here. There she is.
Right.
There she is, and there she's not.
Okay, I'm back.
There she is. Hi, Jackie.
Hi, Sandra.
How are you, my friend?
I'm good. Hi, Aaron. I'm
How
good.
are you? Good. Thank you for joining us today.
Sorry?
Thank you for joining us today.
It's my pleasure. Thank you for having me.
Looking forward to the conversation. And
we are so looking forward to the conversation. So our first order of business is that we're going to, on our show, we don't introduce our guests per se. We allow you to introduce yourself because you know you best and you can talk about you best. So we're going to ask you to tell us who you are. Who's this Jackie Henry? Who's she? Why are we talking to her today?
Thank you. I would be happy to talk a little bit about myself if I have to. So I guess that my accent may give me away, but I was born in the UK, and I was the youngest of 7 children, and I happened to have very bright parents and very bright siblings, but I, for some reason, didn't seem to, cut of the same cloth as them. Seemed to be. And, whereas they were all doing very well in school and they had gone to university and all that kind of stuff, myself being a late child, I had come through the system. I remember when I started secondary school, which is not quite the equivalent to your high school, but it's when you go at the age of 12 in England. And I was put in a remedial class, which was just such a shame and a disgrace in my family. So by all accounts, things weren't looking good in terms of my outlook. But my mum used to always say to me, watch the horse from behind. And so, coming up through the school system, I got to 16, and that's when in England at that time, you would take O levels and then later on you would take A levels. So, it just never even seemed possible for me to go on to do O levels and A levels. However, God had a different plan. And I was able to really, surprise everybody, parents, siblings, extended family, by getting good O levels, getting good A levels, ending up at university, a university that they would never have imagined that I would have got into. And I flipped the switch, not myself, but with the help of the Lord. And so, to be at such a disadvantage and to be, because they'll forget everything came with words, everything came with, kind of a shame and the way that people would look at you, especially with you being, a Henry. How can you not be bright or whatever? And so, it spurred me on to tell my story and to help people who are sometimes seen as the forgotten, as the not as capable, and to let them know, actually, what, you can rise. You can rise out of the ashes here. And so from a very young age, I was volunteering. I used to volunteer with young people from about the age of 15. And when I was 18, I heard a quote that completely changed the course of my life. And the quote was, "The world should always be a better place because a man has lived." So I just inserted woman where they had put man. And I said, right, okay, how is the world going to be a better place because I'm here? Wow. So whilst I, did jobs in government and community, I was always volunteering. I was always doing voluntary work, and particularly with young people. Again, because I knew what it was to be young and to be forgotten and to be underestimated. And eventually I kept on hearing this word. The Holy Spirit just kept on saying to me, jump, 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 jump. And I'm thinking, what does this mean? And I remember my mum saying to me, I hope you never hear that while you're standing at the edge of a cliff. But it all came to light because I remember one night I was at a conference and we were staying over. And I was in my bed and, I had the Holy Spirit speaking to me and I realized that jump was something that the Lord wanted me to do. And JUMP actually became a youth organization, and JUMP was an acronym for Jesus Use My Potential. And the charity went on to be quite a thing in London. I was able to take young people, many of them coming from gangs, coming from very difficult family situations. We gave them jobs as youth workers or as peer mentors. and just basically dispatch them back into their own communities where they were able to make changes. Added to that, I took young people who didn't even have passports. We took them to South Africa, to the US, to Spain, to France, to a number of different countries where they were able to, again, share their talents and their abilities and, begin to recognize, what, nobody should be forgotten. Nobody should be underestimated. You all have that potential in you, and it's just about having it realized and having it manifest. So that was kind of where my journey began. Sorry, go ahead.
You give us everything. Erin, did she not?
Oh, there's much more. There's much more.
No, we don't have anything to add for Erin.
It's a very interesting story,
Very amazing.
I like it, and if I can go back, to the beginning, when you were put into the remedial class and those emotions, describe those emotions that you were feeling, because there was something there that pushed you to find a better way, to find another way.
Yes. So I that emotion that I felt the day because I remember I was actually in my class with my friends.
Yeah.
And then a teacher came into the class and she says, "Could the following students please come with me?" And it was just me and one other girl. And the other girl was, from overseas, and, her English was next to nothing. She had really only just started to speak English.
Yeah.
So then, me and this girl are taken out of the class. Why? And then I found myself in this remedial class. What I felt was a determination. Determination not to stay where I was. And so I pressed as hard, I worked hard, and eventually found myself out of that class. It was only for about maybe 2 or 3 months, and then they put me back in my usual English class.
Right. That's incredible.
Oh, wow. So pause here. So I want you to speak to, I know probably we may have some young people watching, but I'm pretty sure we have some mothers and fathers watching. Yeah. So what would you say to them about that determination, and even allowing a child to cultivate that determination and not, because I know you started off by saying it was hard. Your family were saying, what? Why are you right? So I'm thinking that there's a lot of young people out there that struggle, and maybe mom and dad are saying the same thing. What are you talking about? And maybe the pressure that comes with that. So what can you say to them? How can you encourage them?
So my mum, I have to say, played a crucial role because she didn't believe the hype. She kept on saying to me, "Don't worry, Jackie." My mum was just like, a very strong, dedicated Christian. And she kept on saying, with God, all things are possible. Don't give up, believe in yourself, because she knew that I suffered with severe lack of self-esteem. Because like I said, I came from a very talented family. And I'll give you an example. When I started secondary school, I remember that I was met by the deputy head of the school, which is like your vice principal. And she said to me, "Are you going to be like your sister Myrtle?" Because my sister Myrtle had been this star of the school and everybody loved her. And, she was this amazing person. And so, immediately I'm in her shadow. You know what I mean? I haven't got a chance to have my own identity. So can you imagine, again, all of these things? And then growing up in church, we'd gone to Sunday school, and then, we were part of the main church. And again, my older siblings had been very prominent in the church. And, I had a sister that started preaching when she was 9 years old. And at the very same church, remember when I was about 12, they said to me, "Oh, Jackie, just get up and give your testimony," that kind of thing. I hope people know what I'm talking about here. But they asked me to get up and just say what I thought. And I got up and I looked at everybody, and I looked and I looked, and not one word could I find to say. And I ended up sitting down, right?
Yes.
A Henry, this family of all, people who are so articulate and, so capable. And I couldn't even get up and say 2 words.
Right. Wow.
Like I said, through the process, I definitely had a cheerleader.
Yes.
I had a supporter. I had a mother that kept on saying, don't give up, Jackie,
Right.
watch the horse from behind,
Yes.
The last shall be the first. She would
Yes.
just constantly feed me with these words, positive affirmations, you could call them.
That's what I was going to say. So those affirmations were very powerful.
Yeah.
So what our parents can take away, and what we all can take away, is that it doesn't matter how dim it looks. It doesn't matter how dark it looks. It doesn't matter how uncertain it looks.
Yes.
If you believe, you say you develop this determination that I will overcome this.
Yeah.
I know that I'm not slow. I know that I'm not whatever they call it. I'm not dunce.
Yeah.
I know that I'm smart. I know that I'm a smart woman, smart girl, and I'm going to overcome this. And that's what you did, because I've never met anybody in my life that is as smart as you. And you know that. She's laughing at me, but this is the truth. And that's why you are my friend.
Thank you, Sandra.
She's amazing, Aaron. You don't know her like I do, but she's amazing.
Yeah.
I can tell you that it's like, Joseph, they said that he went from the prison to the palace.
Yeah.
Well, I actually went from this moment in my life at 12, where I couldn't even say 2 words, right, to was maybe a group of 50 people, to actually end up speaking at the House of Commons in London, England.
Wow.
See?
So, that's where you can start, and that's where you can finish.
Right.
And my story and my experience was what fueled me to get to young people and to say, look, it doesn't matter where you begin, it's where you end.
Yes. And it's important to have somebody.
Where you begin is where you end. Go ahead.
It's important to have somebody that believes in you.
Yes.
In the start, because, I think there's so much to be said about parents that are intentional, about the words that they say to their children and are consistent with it. Right. Yes. Those are the seeds that will grow and grow and grow. And what parents have to do too, when kids are low, right, they have to, I'm going to say, foster that belief, bring their belief and plant it.
Yes.
In the mind of the child, until that child begins to see, because they're hearing it so often from mom or dad, and eventually, right, they latch on to that, and sometimes that's all they need, right? Just having that person, like you said, Jackie, in your corner, that's just feeding you, and eventually you start to see yourself in a different light.
Yes.
Right. You said you went through that, right? You start to see yourself in a different light, and because you're one of 7. You were saying, I don't know where you fell in that
I'm
group,
the last.
but you're the last. So it's like, how am I going to live up to these people? Maybe you held yourself back because you were so overwhelmed with, everybody in the community knows your family, in the school they know your family. They're always comparing you, and you say, man, I can't measure up to these guys.
Never.
But I think what's really critical here is the fact that you connected with yourself.
Yes.
You didn't have to mimic anybody else in your family. You connected with Jackie and Jackie's unlimited potential, and what an incredible difference that you've made in your world.
So tell us, amazing. That's amazing. Sorry, Aaron, were you done? Hello. I just want to say hello to everybody that's watching us. Thank you so much for joining us. And I don't know everybody that's on here, but I see Pat from Antigua, because she said hi to us. So she's watching all the way from Antigua, guys.
Nice.
We get our viewers from everywhere, which is amazing, all over the world. And that is so amazing. I want somebody to join us from England, so I'm pretty sure they know you. I can see Jackie up here. Somebody from England out there.
It's quite late in England, I have to say, though. It's nearly midnight.
It's late in England. Yes, it is. It is. But Jackie, I want to ask you. You said about your self-confidence, how low that was, and because we're talking about healing. can you tell us how you overcome that lack of confidence, and how you heal from that, and actually how you translate that? I know you said in the beginning of the work you do, but how do you translate that same healing energy to the people you work with every day up until now? Because I know you still work with you're passionate about young lives, and you still work with young people, and I lift my hat to you, because I know that's tough work, but you have, I know I'm asking you a question, but I just want to talk about you, because you have you have this amazing calm spirit, and it comes with this fun. She's calm and fun, so I can see how she laughs a lot. She's fun. She likes to crack jokes. She likes to make people laugh. So I can see how the young people are so close to you, and how they can feel you. But tell me, how do you use that? How did you heal? Have you healed? I know you have, but how did you do it? And how have you used the same healing energy to impact the youths that you support?
Yeah, so as Aaron was saying earlier, that, the crucial role of my mum and the crucial role that a parent can play. Now, why it was so crucial was that I didn't have any self-worth, but there was this adult in my life that believed in me. And so if she could think that I was capable, then maybe I am. Maybe there's something to this. And so my journey then in finding my own healing was to become that adult to young people around me, and to let them know, look, I believe in you, and look, I think you can do this, and look, I'm a living example that you can come from absolutely nowhere, so to speak, and become, somebody in this world. So I think for me, being able to be an encourager and a cheerleader to somebody else was key to my healing, and to also the work that I still do, as you said.
Wow, that is powerful. And in your dad, you capture that so well. You're a cheerleader, and you're an amazing encourager, and you love God, and that's amazing, and that shines through, and you make no joke about it. And I love that you love God so much. And I know you bring up God a lot of times since you start talking.
He's been very good to me, so good. I can't even begin to explain it.
And that's great. And that's great, Jackie. That's amazing. So Jackie, tell us, Erin, can I jump in here? I know.
Go ahead.
You want to ask her something?
Go ahead.
Go ahead. So tell us, how do you move? How does one move from denial and despair to a place of healing? How does one do that?
That's a really, really good question. Thank you for asking. So I think that a lot of people get into denial and then unfortunately end up staying there. And I think it's partly because to get out of denial, you have to, one, acknowledge your fears, which who wants to do that? You have to face yourself. And again, it can be a tremendous thing to have to face who you really are, and to find, as you guys keep mentioning, your authentic self. Because you don't know what you're going to find, and so you think to yourself, "Oh my God, do I really want to take this step?" But it can be the most liberating thing, because you remove this mask, and it's like, okay, I'm out now, and this is who I am. And there's these expectations that come from being a part of your family, or coming from a certain community, or being in a Christian community. There are always lots and lots of expectations, and it's about removing those expectations from your pressure points, and saying, you know what, this is who I am, and actually it's okay. When God made me, he did a good thing. He doesn't make a mistake. And, who am I to try and fix what he made perfectly? So, accepting my authentic self, and removing that kind of state of denial It's very, very liberating.
It is.
But it's not an easy thing to do.
It's not.
And it's also something that I think a lot of people miss because they never ever realize that they are really just responding to their environment. They're responding to their social setting. They're responding to their cultural norms. They're just being what people expect them to be.
Yes, yes, yes. Yeah.
Yeah. The old program, right? The program, the conditioning that they have. They think it's normal. That's how it is. This is how life is, and they just accept it. But then it takes an event to wake them up to that, right? When somebody comes to jump, is there a process? Is there an event? Is there some onboarding that you do with individuals to wake them up to the role that they play in their experiences?
So jump was something that I ran in England, but then I decided to come to Canada a few years back, and partly because I wanted to. It was part of the taking off the mask, because in England there were certain things that I couldn't get away from. But when I come to Canada, nobody knows me. I can completely reinvent myself, and I can present the true Jackie that I am.
Nice.
And a lot of who I was in England still came with me to Canada, of course. But but anyway, so the work that I do now, I actually work with homeless youth. Okay. So we work with young people who are either coming off the street, who are leaving shelters, or who are coming out of foster care. So, something like low self-esteem and low self-worth is something that I have to deal with on a daily basis, sometimes on an hourly basis. And it's good because I recognize it very quickly, and I'm able to respond not only from a clinical or a psychological point of view, but also from a very personal and even spiritual point of view.
Right.
And so to answer your question, Aaron, I think that it's really about helping people to, see themselves without being a victim of their circumstances. There is this saying that I love, and it's a little bit deep, but it's something that I always quote, and Sandra probably heard me say it before. It's not about your situation, it's about your revelation.
It's not. Let me put that down. That one.
It's not about your situation.
It's not about your situation. It's about your revelation.
It's not about your situation. Yes. It's about your revelation.
Revelation. Wow.
That's so loaded, Jackie. You want to break that down for us?
So, we are often, like I said, the victims of circumstance. So I happen to be a child that my parents decided not to bring up. So I'm now in foster care, and I am a throwaway child. Nobody wants me. That's the situation, and it's sad.
Yeah.
But what is your revelation? Your revelation is there are people, famous people that I can't quote right now because I can't think of anybody, but there are a number of them which I have used in the past, who come from similar or worse situations, who then went on.
Shania Twain.
Yeah, right. Okay. Who then went on to absolutely turn their lives around and blow everybody away.
Yes.
I hear that Shaq O'Neal's dad, came back when he became famous and sort of said, "Oh, Shaq, remember, I'm your dad. Do you remember me?" Kind of thing. But it was, their situation at one point didn't look so wonderful, but it doesn't matter. You don't focus on your situation. You focus on your revelation. You focus on the fact that you can overcome. You can break the barriers. You can be all that you can be. And actually, do you know that my color and my gender and my economic start in life aren't necessarily going to shape my situation eventually? It may shape my situation now, but if you understand your revelation, you can overcome anything that could present itself as a barrier.
Yes.
Powerful. Yes. Your revelation. So you're finding the good in the situation, because it's not your fault that you are where you are. It's not your fault that you were conditioned the way you're conditioned, or you found yourself in a certain home. as a child. It's not your fault, but I guess that there has to be your revelation is like a day of reckoning, right? Where you know the truth. This is what I've been to, but now I have a choice, right? Whether to accept it or to find another course.
Absolutely. And you know what it's also about, Aaron? It's about being able to dream outside of your situation.
Right.
So Henry Ford was in a world where everybody was, on carts and horses. But he was able to dream beyond that.
Yes.
The Wright brothers were in the world where everybody was at ground level. But they were able to dream outside of their situation and have a revelation of an aeroplane.
Wow.
That's so it's about this is my situation, but I can have a dream that takes me outside of that. And of course, let's go there, right? It was Martin Luther King Day this week, and whose dream was, I can have a dream regardless of the fact that I am in the world where I'm discriminated against, where I experience racism, where I experience economic disadvantage. And I can say, I have a dream that one day it's going to be different for me. And that's what I try to convey to these young people. Don't worry about your situation. We can't change that right now. You can, in this situation, dream yourself out of it.
Wow. Amen to that.
You can
reinvent yourself.
That is so powerful.
That is
powerful. I know, because I did it.
It's powerful work. It's very powerful work. And like you said, you did it. It's real. You're not talking from textbook. You're talking from real life experience. And it's great when you can make a connection to an individual who embraces that and who's yearning, right, to make that jump, to just disconnect from the past and just take in what you're saying. So I think it's great work that you're doing. It's very powerful.
Great work that you're doing.
And it's transforming, so way to go. Way to go.
Way to go. But Aaron, you're good. You're okay yourself. You're doing some of that work right now. Aaron and I sometimes like to stay in the shadow, but the reason why we're having this common conversation is because it's dear to my heart, Aaron's heart. We want to talk to people who are doing these work, who I call heroes, but don't get noticed, like somebody like you and all the people we're talking to, who take their own money to support somebody, who you just moved one of the young men. Now you have a son. I know I didn't want to call you on that, but I have to say it. That's so amazing. Now I have to say that is so amazing. So she's doing the work. She's practically doing the work. It's one thing to have the textbook knowledge of it and be smart about the subject matter and talk and do the talk. But it's another thing to get in the gutter and do the work, Jackie. And that's what you're doing. And all the people that we have spoken to thus far have decided that, hey, I'm just going to roll up my pants. I'm going to get in the gutter. I don't have to wait for World Vision. I don't have to wait for some huge Salvation Army. I don't have to wait for my church. I individual can make a change in my community. Right. And this is why we're having this conversation. This is powerful stuff.
And it's so interesting that you talk about sort of the unsung heroes, because in 2017, just at Mississauga Convention Center, in a world where there were no masks and no hands, well, we washed our hands, but not everybody. We had an event actually, and when I say we had an event, so I work with young people, but I also work with philanthropists, people who have a bit of money that want to help others. And I worked with a philanthropist who wanted to do something with unsung heroes. And so we came up with an idea to work with women who had, been fostering children for 30 years and had, taken so many children out of that sort of situation, who, ran, their local soccer team on their own dime. And there were so many stories. I can't even begin to go through all of them. But we had this wonderful evening of 160 women where they were just recognized. They were given a beautiful meal. It was a red carpet experience. And they were able to come and just be celebrated and recognized.
Nice.
And they all received their Mother of Magnificence award,
Wow.
17, which they were able to put on their shelves. And it was also so wonderful for so many of them, because people would come to their house and see the award, and there's no other awards there, and say, "What is that about?" Then they were able to, one, say that they got the award, but then talk about why they had got the award. And that was the first time a lot of people discovered the kind of sacrifices that they had been making for years. Some of them for decades.
Yeah.
So so we had recognized, and it's important that we continually recognize unsung heroes that we have. Yeah,
it's so important. It's so important. So it's a good time to shout out to all the mothers who are holding it down, who are single. Good time to shout out to all the fathers
definitely
who are working hard to support their families. It's just a good time to shout out anybody who is making a difference in our community. We salute you, because we know holding down your own fort and taking the time to hold on for another person, we know it's hard enough to take care of yourself. So, but when you extend yourself, this is what we're talking about, healing communities and healing our country. And with all the madness we've seen in the last month and a half, it's been crazy, but there's still healers around. Not everybody is there to make wars and have divide and just all about me, but a lot of people, ordinary people like you, Jackie, are doing extraordinary work and
it's also the saying, you can either see the cup half empty or half full. And I think a lot of times with our community, we only see it half empty. We constantly talk about how empty that half is. But there are lots of wonderful things happening in our community. Like you said, there are mothers who are staying in there. There are fathers who are staying in there. There are the unsung heroes who are giving back to their community constantly. Nobody knows. They're using their own money, but they're there making a difference. And I think sometimes it's important just to recognize that there is all of this good stuff that is happening in our community. And like you said, give them a shout out.
Yes.
Definitely.
Diana, hi. I'm just going to stick a pin there. Let me just say hello to some of the folks who are watching. Hi, Diana Davis. Thank you so much for watching. Valerie Elliott. There's Talika. She's here. We were talking about her today. Hey, Talika. Miss you. And Morgan Robinson, thank you for watching. We love it when you join us, because we're having a conversation, we're having a dialogue, and we love it when you come on. We want you to say something. She said, Jackie, you are an amazing human being. Talika said that.
Nice.
Oh, and somebody said, a powerful Jackie. You're doing good. Nice. Patricia Stevenson, hey again. Just a shout out to everybody. Thank you guys for watching. Keep the comments coming and keep the questions. Ask Jackie a question, you all. Ask her about the accent. Just ask her something. Jackie, it's so amazing. Jackie, do you have one word that can describe your healing journey? I know you said a lot of words that we could draw from, but is there one word and why?
Okay, so I know it's going to sound cheesy.
Cheesy. Okay.
I have to be my authentic self. Okay.
Yes,
so,
100%.
What I really think. Okay. So I'm worried about the comments that are gonna come after, but my one word would be love. I just had so much love from my parents. I received so much love in my life, and I thank God that I have this great capacity to love. I'm very concerned about people who are in pain, people who are unhappy, who are depressed, who experience anxiety, because somebody has to care. And so I have a great capacity for love. I when I work with young people, I'm not doing it purely because I want to get paid at the end of the week. It's because I genuinely have a heart and a love for them, and I definitely want to see them out of pain, out of this confusion, the shame, the sadness that a lot of them are sort of, imprisoned in. And to just allow love to emancipate them. And because love can do that.
Wow.
God so loved the world that he gave his only begotten son. Love is an emancipator. And so, yeah, love is my word, I think. And like I said, I know it's cheesy, but
I know it's cheesy, and that's why I want to ask you another question. And because it's cheesy, a lot of people will believe that love, it's so overrated. I don't know what that is. So when a person is hurting and they never had that in their life, you said something that is very profound also. You said, my mom and dad give me so much love. It begins there. So you had a front seat to that. But some people never had a front seat to that, and even for the people who you now help, who are in foster care and they were raised by the system, they never had a front seat to that. So how do you? Because you have it, I know you have it. You exude it. It's all over you. That's why I love you, because you just exude this. But how do we tell people who never experienced this amazing love that you talk about, that came from mom and dad, that came from God ultimately, but was so eminent and so amazing through mom and dad? How can you tell them if they didn't get that? How do they get this love?
So what happens is that if you haven't had it, you can become very me focused. So it's all about me. It's about my survival. It's about my protection. It's about putting barriers around myself so that people can't hurt me. And what happens is that you end up locking yourself in for safety. But in the process, you prevent other people from being able to get inside. And so you can't even invite love because you've got all these barriers up. And like I said, the barriers are there to protect you. And I understand that you want to be protected. But here's the reality. Barriers are barriers. And it means that people can't get in. And so what I would say is, give yourself some vulnerability. I know you've done it before, and I know it caused you pain, and I know that that it's hard to live with that level of pain. But it's about making yourself vulnerable to love. So when I go out there and I'm giving all this love and all the rest of it, I'm making myself vulnerable because I'm also setting myself up for rejection. And don't forget, I and you do get it. And initially, it's certainly young people. Initially, when you come, you're saying, "Hi, how are you? If you need anything, let me know." Blah blah blah. They're like, who are you? And you don't know me. And there's this kind of rejection, and there's like lack of trust.
Right.
Because we know that trust and love walk hand in hand.
Yeah.
And so you have to kind of allow yourself to trust and allow yourself to be vulnerable and remove the barriers, because there are good people out there that can truly love you for who you are.
Perfect.
Whoa.
I like that. I have two questions.
Drop mic.
That's very good.
Drop mic.
So I get a sense that you just give so much. How do you refill your cup? What do you do for you to re-energize and to replenish?
So I have a foster son, and he's always complaining because he says, "Auntie Jackie, why do you always have these parcels coming to the house every day?" Right? And he's complaining about it, right? And I want to say to him, "Look, son, right? My money.
What are you buying?
But this is what happens when you're a single woman and you're unregulated, Aaron, right? You shop.
You shop.
No, seriously, maybe every other day I have a parcel coming to the house.
Wow.
So basically what I was going to say is that I treat myself.
Right.
I definitely treat myself. If I want it, typically, unless it's really, really ridiculously expensive and it's nonsense,
Yes.
I would definitely let myself have it.
Okay.
I mean, I'm sure that's not the answer that you wanted. I'm sure you were saying maybe, you know.
But that's okay.
I was curious. I was just curious.
Yeah.
Because like
It's fine. It's called self-care.
I'm
Treating myself.
Yeah.
And she buys herself really nice teas. So she loves teas and she buys herself really nice teas to you know, to do that little so she and you tell Aaron what you do. You read, you do groups. We have a writers group, Aaron, that we're involved in, that we write poetry and we write devotionals and all that. And
I also run a Bible study for some of the young people.
Run a Bible study too.
Okay.
Yeah.
You're giving, but you're getting back also.
Yes.
Yeah, I've like I said, I have had a very good life because, like I said, you know, I don't feel that I was ever denied love. I may have been, you know, what's happening to you, or you was, you know, capable or whatever, but I was never ever denied love. I was always, you know, the center in my family in terms of my parents, because I was their last child, and then they had me quite late.
Okay.
So in fact, they wanted. So quick story. My parents actually wanted 6 children. They said, and they wanted 3 boys and they wanted 3 girls. And they found themselves with 6 children, 3 boys and 3 girls.
Okay.
And then my dad had a dream, and he saw this little baby girl crawling on the ground, and he said to my mom, I think we're going to have another child. And apparently my mom cussed him off. No more children. And if it's going to be any more, you're going to have the child, kind of thing. Then 2 years after you had that dream, I was born.
Wow.
So I was unexpected, but I was, I think, a nice surprise to my parents, and they doted on me. And like I said, I experienced a lot of love in my life. And also, I've been able to enjoy a great life. So I've actually been to 40 different countries in my life.
Wow.
Definitely treat yourself with pressure.
Yeah, I traveled a lot.
Why are you making us feel like this, Jackie? Aaron.
I traveled a lot.
Yeah. Been everywhere.
We got,
throughout the whole process.
That's living, man. That's
amazing.
That's fantastic.
Amazing.
You mentioned something earlier or a little while ago about rejection. You know, when you meet, let's say, a new person comes to your organization and you approach them, you know, and they might be cold or stuff like that. And you said that's sometimes, I don't know if you interpret it as rejection or you know, just the fact that you said the word rejection kind of raised a flag with me. And I'm saying that because along the journey of healing, we learn to get information, and then we choose how we respond to the information.
Right.
It's not more, right? It's just that person. Maybe they're not ready for what I'm bringing forth.
Right.
You know, and sometimes you have to use a different approach to present the information to them. And I just think it's important that, you know, we break that connection. You know, when we're doing our work, you know, people don't reject us. They just give us information, right? And then we choose how we respond to that information. It could be, I'm not ready. Not now.
Yeah.
We don't give up. I know you don't give up, Jackie, but I'm just saying this for the broader healers, people that are young in the journey and they're zealous and they want to make a difference and they bring information to people, and people might say, you know, give them some harsh words, and then they take it personal. They take it personal, let them deter them, you know, in their goal, in their ambition, you know. But it takes just that awareness, knowing that I ultimately can choose how I respond, right, to information that people give me when I present them with something. And I think the sooner we learn that on this journey, it's just going to make us stronger and more resolved to go out and do what we're doing. I know you're beyond that, but I just wanted to touch on that, that word rejection, right?
Yeah.
It's not really a rejection. It's really how you perceive it to be. It could be a lesson.
Because something in it. About young people who have only known, foster parents, their sort of worker, their independent worker who would be the person who, make sure they get what they need, that kind of thing, or teachers. It's always these people who are doing this as their job. I'm here to do my job.
Yes.
And, I'm not saying that they don't care or that they're not interested, but for a lot of them, it really is just a job.
Yes.
When it's a vocation, when it's a calling, when it's a real desire from love to make a difference, because you want the world to be a better place because you have lived. When you then turn up, they may respond to you in the way that they have responded to other people.
Yes.
Right.
Definitely.
Yeah.
And so they may resist then, maybe that's a better word. They may resist your overtures of concern and genuine desire to see their well-being until they realize, until they form that trust and that bond with you.
Yes.
And they say, okay, you are different. And I will talk to you and I will tell you what's going on with me. And I will, when I'm in crisis, I will reach out to you.
Right.
Because I know that your concern is coming from a different place.
Right. Yeah. So it's a mask then that they would have at that point in time that they're not willing to take off yet.
It takes time. Yeah. And for all of us, I know we're talking about we're almost out of time, and Chief is gonna cut us off. He's not joking these days; he's serious. But but all of us have been there to a place where we're not sure if we should mask off. So because we all have levels of masking that we do. Let's just be honest. I don't care how authentic we try to be. We all have a level, especially where we're new surroundings or with new people. You don't want to let your guard down so fast. So you have a level of masking, and it's more you get to know that person that you unmask, and it's a constant feeling because it's almost like we're built to kind of be self-persevere. Is that the word? Yeah, so we do that. I want to keep myself safe here, so I'm not going to let all myself out to you yet. And like the people we support, like I still work with vulnerable adults, and I did that for 15 years, and it's always allowing them to do their own unmasking. And for some people, it takes 2 months. For some people, it's the first day. For some people, it takes a whole year. It takes a while before they warm up to you, right? And you have to allow them that space to do to heal and get to warm up to your healing energy.
Yes.
Yeah.
Totally agree.
It was such a beautiful conversation. Chief is giving me the time.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. So Erin, so Chief said we could talk about him. So let's butt in. And he said if we call his name, the internet will break. He said that to me. So because everybody knows him. Everybody knows Chief. So he said if you call my name, the internet will break. And he Chief Yinka Ferende. That's his name. Yinka Ferende. So I want the internet to break tonight, so I'm calling his name. Yinka Ferende. He's the guy at the back that help us out every week. We're using his platform, Dork TV. He's an awesome man. And he told me that I could say it. He got his vaccine. He's a nurse by profession, and he got his vaccine, and he's getting he got his first vaccine, and he's getting his second vaccine next week. So he said I should tell everybody that is a lie, that the vaccine doesn't work. That all of us who are scared of getting this vaccine, go get your vaccine. Chief said it's fine. You can actually get your vaccine, Jackie, when your time come around. And Aaron, when your time come around, Aaron, you can actually get your vaccine. Chief said it's okay. He got it.
Views expressed here are those of the participants.
Absolutely. You need a disclaimer, most definitely.
Well, let Chief
I
put
ain't
it in
telling
writing.
nobody to take nothing.
Let him put it in writing. He said he's fine. He didn't have any side effects or anything. He's fine.
Great, Chief.
Yeah, I think that's amazing. So I know some of us are a little reluctant in getting that vaccine, and you have a right to your reluctancy. But for those of us who are on the front line, Jackie, you're meeting young people, and me, and for me who have already contracted COVID, I'm thinking about it. I'm thinking slowly though. Slowly.
I guess it's another show, Sandra.
It's a whole nother show. That's a whole nother show. Aaron is not having it. He's not having it. He's not having it. Somebody said, whether you know the person, yes or no, still wear a mask. Oh, that is the person I got the vaccine, and I encouraged everyone to go and get it. Oh, so this is another nurse, Nicole Cameron. Thank you for watching. She said you should still wear a mask, Jackie. Don't take it off.
No worries.
Don't take it off, Aaron. Don't take off your mask. And get the vaccine. She just said she encourages everybody to get it. We'll do a show. We'll do a show on the vaccine. We'll try to get. We'll try to get a doctor on to tell us a little bit more about it. You know, I'm not the best person to speak to it. Don't have much education in that area, so we won't. But I know we have 5 minutes. We have to go. So I actually wanted to just read some things that people were saying. People were before we go. Oh my God. So people are just saying hi. As I said, we have 1 minute, and Michelle did say a shout out to you, and I said Talika, and Michelle said that you were so amazing and supportive. Jackie, she wanted you to know that. And Morgany said, you guys. She said good night. Hi, Morgany, and Morgany did say. Michelle said you come across something in every intersection. I'm not sure where we were with our conversation. She said, Talika said, loving definitely describes you, Jackie. So you're getting all these shout out. We got to bring you back.
It was great.
Augustine is watching all the way from Ghana. And so guys, this is it. Jackie, you have a last word before we go back?
No, just to thank you for having me on. It's been really nice to be able to share my story, and thank you for being so receptive to it.
It's great having you.
Thank you, Jackie. Anytime. We got to have you on. Again, we love it. We love the conversation. Bye.
I don't want to go to the COVID show, though.
The COVID show. You don't want to be on the COVID show?
No.
Good night, everybody. Take care. See you in 2 weeks.
Good night, everybody.
Byond exists to define purpose through holistic mentoring. At Byond, we will assist you to achieve success. Enjoy
JACQUI TV.
Can I have a cookie?